So there are rumors that Matthew Stafford could be on the move in Los Angeles. And you won't find many teams as quarterback needy as the Raiders. Things are pretty much up in the air with us at quarterback. We have a new regime coming in, and the Raiders were in a position to draft at the top of the draft, but now they're in a position where they'd have to kind of trade up to get one of the top two prospects. Now, if you look at Matthew Stafford, still has a lively arm, man. Still is effective. He'd be a huge upgrade over anybody we have on his roster. Take a look at this Stafford throw right here. Look at this. Man, it looks all damn near like 100 yards, man. But this guy has always been a super, super talented guy, man. Number one pick, Super Bowl champion. But the money is what is going to be a problem right now. They say that Matthew Stafford would carry a hefty $50 million cap hit, man. So what do you guys think? Bring in the vet? How would he look in silver and black, everybody? I think under the circumstances, it'd be a terrible, terrible mistake to bring in Matthew Stafford. But I just want to know what you guys think, man. Well, here we go. So there are reports out there that Matthew Stafford's future in Los Angeles kind of remains uncertain, remains a little bit of a mystery. Now, while he delivered a championship in his first year being in Los Angeles, the last few years have been a little up and down, especially because of injury, not because of Matthew's play, because Stafford has, been a consummate pro. He's been very productive when he's actually on the field, but he's getting a little long in the tooth. Now, Matthew Stafford will be 37 years old headed into the season, and there are reports that indicate that the Rams are opening to listen to trades for Matthew Stafford, but they're seeking at least a first-round pick. Now, listen, that is probably the beginning and ending point for the Raiders, because I can't see any organization in their right mind trading a first-round pick for a 37-year-old quarterback that's not going to immediately make you a Super Bowl contender. And there are other reports that the Rams are thinking about moving on from Matthew Stafford, maybe because of his family business. I mean, his wife Kelly has a podcast, and she's been very, very critical of the front office and the moves that are made with the Rams. That was some of the reasons why they got rid of Cooper Kupp, because of some of the off-the-field stuff. And the Rams office is said to be growing tired of it, according to Colin Cowherd of Fox Sports Network, They're tired of the constant back and forth, right? So then now you have to ask yourself, right? What would it take for a team like the Raiders to get a Matthew Stafford if they so chose, right? Because this is a strange year for the Raiders, right? We have a change into the guard in the front office. You have Tom Brady, Pete Carroll, John Spytek all on the same accord to want to win now. The fan base wants to win now. Max Crosby wants to win now. And that is one of the reasons why on a daily basis, I keep throwing around ideas for what they're going to do at quarterback, right? Now, ideally, I would like to see a veteran brought in and the quarterback of the future drafted this year, right? And or if you can get one of the top two quarterbacks in this draft, I'd ideally like to see them get things built around them in the correct way, right? But, no one is keen on giving up valuable draft compensation for a 37-year-old quarterback who only has 2 years left on his contract. And it would depend on the whole trade package for me, right? It would depend on what we're giving up, how much money we're taking on. We have a lot of cap space, but you have to keep in mind that the Raiders have a lot of holes on this roster from players that they drafted, like Trayvon Merrick and guys like that they're going to have to re-sign. Robert Spillane. There are a lot of missing pieces to the roster that we already have, right, that need to be taken care of. And also keep in mind that Max Crosby needs to be taken care of, right? So when you talk about us having the second most cap room in the National Football League, you got to take that with a grain of salt or a grain of sugar, right? So let me ask you guys something, man. Like, do you think that it's viable to get a Matthew Stafford in silver and black this year? And what would be the compensation that you guys would be willing to see giving up for Matthew Stafford? Now, to me, his deal would have to be restructured, because I got to get you guys some numbers on this, but I think that it's like over $30 million in dead cap money. I'm not sure. Now, from what I understand, it's over $30 million. It wouldn't be much of a cost-saving measure. It only saved him $4.3 million. It will be a $45.3 million dead cap hit on the Rams books. So to me, right, there's a lot of moving pieces for Mathew Stafford to be moved out of Los Angeles. Now, people were saying that the New York Giants were firmly in line to take a Stafford, right? And they were going to trade the number 3 pick. Adam Schefter has come out and summarily dismissed that. And to me, that doesn't sound realistic at all. No one would trade the 3rd pick in the draft for a 37-year-old quarterback, right? So things would have to happen. The contract would have to be restructured, right? But the crazy thing is, man, is this, man. The Raiders are always in any quarterback talk, right? So I look at it from a standpoint of every quarterback that comes out, what exactly would it mean for us to get them, right? Or what exactly would it mean for them to get out into the quarterback market? Now, ideally, I am against the Mathew Stafford trade, right? I like Mathew Stafford. I think he's very productive, but for the money and what you'd have to give up for him, right? It does not make any sense for the Raiders. Now, hopefully, ideally, how this could affect the Raiders, and this is why I'm making this video, is if another team that is a quarterback needy team that is ahead of us in the draft sees an infinite wisdom to trade for Stafford, that would kind of put us in line to get our guy. But look, to be honest with you, this is a nothing burger. I don't think that the Rams are going to be able to trade him. You know, they sent off Cooper Kupp via trade, but I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see the Mathew Stafford trade thing happening, man. I really, really don't. It's hard for them to blow up that QB room, and it'll be even harder for them to shed the dead money on the cap. So which kind of takes the Raiders out of the mix, because it just doesn't make any financial sense for the Rams. It doesn't make sense for the Raiders to take on that much money with a guy that's not long for the league, man. Hey, guys, listen. If you like what you heard, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Raider Nation Unlimited, Wasted Talent. We're going to be coming to you with all of these shorts every single day. And also, a little bit later, we will be going live. We will do like